Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to the session Part-time MBA Ask the Students. I'm Mariana Macedo, Senior Marketing Manager here at ESMT Berlin, and today I'm joined by three former students, recent graduates, so they just graduated around 10 days ago, to share their student experience here with you. So first, I will just ask you for a short introduction, and then we will do a presentation about the part-time MBA program, and then finally we will get to the most interesting part of the session, the Q&A. So thank you, Marco. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Jackie. And yeah, if you can briefly introduce yourself before I start the presentation, that would be great.
Sure thing. Maybe I'll start quickly. So I'm Nora. I live in Hanover, not in Berlin. I have a life science background with a PhD in regenerative sciences. And when I applied and I started the part-time MBA, I had a full-time job and 2 kids at home.
Oh, wow, very brave.
Tony?
Yep, my name is Jiaqi. I come from China. I'm living in Berlin. I have been in Germany for 14 years, and I'm an SAP consultant. And before the MBA, I'm doing the SAP consulting afterwards still. Thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Marco. I'm born in Berlin. I also live in Berlin. My educational background is industrial engineering. Before I started the part-time MBA, I was working full-time as a business developer and still working there. And at the beginning, I had 1 child, and during the studies, I got my 2nd child.
Well, lots of changes. Thank you very much for
Yes.
the introduction. Now, if you want to turn off your camera and mute yourself, we will just do the presentation for around 10 minutes, and then I will call you back. Thank you very much. So, before I start talking about the part-time program, I will quickly talk about ESMT. So this is our mission. From the heart of Europe, we create and impart new knowledge to advance business and society, and we develop entrepreneurial leaders who think globally and act responsibly. So here you can have an overview of the companies and businesses that started ESMT around 20 years ago. So we are quite new, but constantly highly ranked in the most important rankings, and also with those companies here behind us. Talking specifically about the part-time program, this is an MBA designed for working professionals. So you are allowed to study while you work full-time. It's delivered in a blended format, meaning that it's 75% online, and then you can have the flexibility of studying whenever you want and can. And you have the 25% in person, which means that you will be also on campus for the residencies, and you also have the opportunity to network with your classmates. So this is a 2-year part-time program. We have classes starting in every September, and it's a program of general management with business innovation. So we have, during the 2 years, 14 residencies, and you spend only 28 working days away from the office. I will talk more about that in the next slide. And here you can have an overview of the class who started this year, so 2024. We have a mix of different industries, an average age of 32 years old, over 20 nationalities, 41% women in the program, and 71% international. Now here you can have an overview of the MBA curriculum. You start in September with the preparation, and you also have, during this first module here, the first residential week, which runs from Monday to Friday. After this, the residencies are weekend residencies, meaning that you have to be in class on Thursday evening, Friday, and Saturday. Here you can also have an overview of the courses. For every module, you have the in-person residency, and then towards the end, You also have the International Field Seminar, which is also a full week as the first one. The last one is also a full week, but then it's an international field trip that students take together. They can vote on the destination that they will go to, and they help organizing the curriculum of the week as well. So if you're interested in joining the program, this is what you need to apply. An up-to-date CV, transcripts of your undergraduate or first university degree showing course grades. You also need to have at least 2 years of professional work experience by the time you start the program. 2 professional recommendations, some sort of test score. So we accept GMAT, GRE, and we also offer our own ESMT admission test. And for STEM students or PhD graduates, we also offer the opportunity for a GMAT or GRE waiver as well. So meaning that if you want to apply and you have a background in STEM, you might apply to a waiver and then you don't need to take any of the admission tests. We also ask for English proficiency because the whole program is delivered in English. We have applications open now for the classes starting in September 25. The first round of application deadline is on February 10th. And if you apply by this deadline, you automatically qualify for an award of 6,000 euros in addition to any scholarships awarded. So this is an overview of the program. Thank you very much. And now we'll call the recently graduates back to start our chat. So the first question that I have for you is when you were thinking about doing an MBA, why did you choose ESMT as your first choice?
Could I start again? Sorry, guys. So I looked at a lot of options in Germany. And after a while, it was clear to me that I would like to have a blended option. It was clear that I can't do a full-time MBA. I would like to keep on working. This was a priority. And I wanted somewhere where you also have a chance to meet your classmates. And in retrospect, I think that was a great decision. I'm very happy that I didn't do a fully online one because I think the residencies were the highlights of the program, really. And I looked at the curriculum, and ours was business innovation. I think that has remained the same for the part-time MBA. And the subjects that were offered by the professors who taught them were really, really attractive. This is how I made my choice. And of course, Berlin, coming from Hanover, also seemed like a nice way of spending my time if I have to travel for studying.
Yeah, I also did a lot of research before my application. And for me, ESMT is quite unique. It's a young business school, which means there are a lot of chances here. And in each cohort, we have about 40 to 50 students, and which means we come from more than 20 different countries. And actually, the normal, I mean, the traditional business school, yeah, the most of the people, they are the local people. But you always learn from the professor with the same materials year by year. But at ESMT, the schedule and the content is quite unique. We have some very interesting topics, and this is on the one side we can learn from the professor, but the most important is that we can learn from our classmates who comes from more than 20 countries, and that's a very unique experience for me.
I have a really short answer. I think it's the best business school in Germany, if we look at the ranking. But also, like Nora said, this focus on innovation was very attractive to me. And since I live in Berlin and have family and 2 kids in house, so I think for me it was obvious choice to join ESMT.
Thank you very much. Before I ask the second question, just a quick reminder to the audience, if you have any question to Nora, Marco, and Jackie, feel free to use the Q&A section here on the bottom of your screen. There's a small question mark that you can just click there type in your question, and then we will answer here live. So now talking specifically about your student experience, so it's a blended format. Can you share a little bit more about how was conciliating work and children and social life and studies on top of that? So how was the way that you organized or how you structured your learning, especially during the 75% online, that you have a little bit more flexibility to schedule your studies?
Maybe I can start. And actually, ESMT is somewhere you cannot really be lazy, which means we really we really have the specific task that we must finish on each weekend, and which means especially for the first year, it's a little bit huge workload, and therefore the time management is very important. But you know, the people, they also need to get relaxed sometimes. Therefore, for me, my Friday night and the Saturday, I do not learn anything. That is my red line. And therefore, for me, I learn from Monday to Thursday, hardworking, and also the whole Sunday. And I need about 15 to 20 hours per week to finish all the content. And for me, I really learned a lot. And actually, the time you dedicate more on the content, then you learn also more. And you have sometimes when you read materials, once again, maybe you have the new thinking and new thoughts about it. And therefore, for me, I'm just how to say, crazy time manager, I would say.
Should I continue? I would say that there is no real success formula, in my opinion. I think that humans get used to every situation. But I can tell you, in the first couple of weeks of module 1, it was very difficult to get along. I mean, full time, yeah, if you have family as well. But once you are through that, I think it will be fine. I mean, it's still a huge workload, but you can manage it. I mean, you get used to it.
Totally agree. I think it also brought the group together. The shock of the first few weeks really brought the class together. We started helping each other as much as we could. And I think it's really true that to a certain extent, you get as much out of it as much you put in, right? So you don't have to put 100% of your time and energy into every single class. Maybe you can cherry pick the ones that are really important for you and really focus on those. And I think if, you know, life intervenes and there are special circumstances, there's always a way of negotiating deadlines or negotiating teamwork, because of course, a lot of the things are done in study groups. And I don't feel that, I don't think that anyone felt, you know, left behind just because they couldn't keep up with the curriculum. I think our class hopefully looked out for them, and also the professors, the faculty definitely did too.
Thank you. And picking up on what you said about the teamwork, can we talk a little bit about that? So how was the experience? Were there any conflicts to handle, or like how did you handle conflicts? Because I think having conflicts is part of an MBA experience in any school and any program. So how was the teamwork? What did you learn from your classmates? And how was the dynamic in the cohort?
I think this is one of the greatest things about the program, right? Because we have so many different backgrounds, so many different industries and people at different stages of their career. And at the end, we just, I think, randomly put into groups. So I was in the same group with Tony to begin with. And in my last study group, I was together with Marco. So it was a very nice, you know, picture, big picture of what it can be. You handle the conflicts like you would at the workplace at the beginning, and then later as friendships develop, maybe that helps to handle conflicts, but we didn't, if we had any misunderstanding or creative differences, there was always a civilized way of dealing with these fields. So you learned from each other from day one.
Maybe I can add one point. I said this very often during the 2 years, that I never met so many respectful, professional, and nice people on one place. So that we were like around 40 people, and I can't even remember that there was some big issues. Of course, you have different opinions, but since everybody was so kind, everybody was listening and trying to understand each other's opinion. So I think this is something which is you can also track back to ESMT, because you are choosing very nice candidates and very good candidates, and so I think there are no like huge issues with the cohort itself or with the study groups.
Yeah, for me, the study group is quite interesting to learning from with. And actually, at the very beginning, we are all strangers. We do not know each other. And at the very beginning, the communication could be a little bit hard. But very luckily, under the first session, first model at ESMT, we learn how to build the effective team. And after that course, I would say I see some chemical reaction that happened, and the people get to know each other proactively, to join the session proactively, and that is also the learning we can take away back to our office, and to see how we can build a team and to work with other people.
Great, thank you very much. And yeah, since you mentioned also the impact that had on the office, we received a question about informing the workplace before starting an MBA. So can you share how was this process? If you shared before starting the program, after, we usually recommend to inform before, also because if you can get any sponsorship, it's the time to ask. But how was the experience? I think not only before informing your workplace, but also during the program, did you receive any feedback from your team at work after you started the MBA, or did you go any career transformation? How was the career aspect of the MBA for you?
So I discussed the idea even already with my immediate boss, and he was very supportive. And yeah, he helped even with the application. I think he was one of my recommendations. The reason why you should definitely do this, especially if you live in Germany, is because to be able to tax deduct anything above a certain value, the Finanzamt needs to know if it is related to your work, and no better way to show that it is related to your work than showing that maybe your employer is paying a certain percentage of your fees. This could be very beneficial for a lot of different reasons. So I definitely recommend discussing it openly at work, especially because you will be busier, you will have extra work to do in these 2 years, so they need to know that you're not, I don't know, neglecting work. On the opposite, you're doing something that could eventually help you and help them also in a few years.
For me, before my MBA, I was a SAP consultant in a SAP consulting company where they have 70 employees. And when I talk about it to my supervisor, and amazingly, all of the people, they supported me a lot. They told me that, Tony, that is your, my English name is Tony. Tony, this is your dream, and you are a motivated person, and you should go for it. And they really support me a lot. And they even told me that if there could be a huge workload, I can even reduce my working time. Yeah, in my previous company. And little by little, people also see the change, and sometimes I also take some knowledge away back to the office and talk to people. Hey, now, for example, my company would like to enter a new market, and they asked me, hey, Tony, how can we do it? And they really respect and really take seriously about what I have learned from the ESMT and my suggestion, and which made me feel so respective. And during my MBA, I also changed my job once, and the people, the HR, on the market, they just came to you and talk with you if you would like to do something new. And in my current company, the people are also quite nice, and I feel so good.
Maybe just add one thing. Beside the fact that maybe you could get a sponsorship by the company, I think it's fair to talk to your boss or supervisor and tell them that you would like to apply for part-time, because of course it shouldn't affect your work, but it can affect it, especially if you stay up all night. So I think I would be happy to hear it as a boss, and I think that the company cannot say no, but still, just to clarify everything, I think it makes sense. And I'm not sure if you need to talk to the company if you want to have this, I don't know in English, a Bildungsurlaub, so you get some days off, like special holiday for studying. And this is important if you go to residencies, because you need to take off anyway.
Yeah, that's a great reminder. So some states of Germany offer this possibility. I'm not sure how it works in other countries. Might be that other countries in Europe might offer something similar, but for Germany, there are quite a lot of states who offer this opportunity. There are two questions that are more or less similar, so I think we can tackle both for time purposes. So the first one is how the program influenced your career and personal perspectives, the most important learnings, and also after completing your part-time MBA, what changes have you noticed in your personal growth, especially in areas such as decision-making, strategic thinking, or other skills? So I think we can just use those two questions to talk about professional and personal growth during and after the program, if you have any highlights that you would like to share.
For me, I think I learned my way of thinking changed. And I think it's really important for a person to how he observed this world. It's very important. And before my MBA, I did my bachelor and master study in Germany, engineering. And during my work, I see that some of my colleagues who learned something at the business school, they have the process way of thinking, and which is very logic, is totally different as the engineering thinking. And for me, that is my biggest earn. It's not the title, but how you look at this world.
I can maybe tell you one skill or knowledge that I gained during the program from one course. So in my role in business development, I actually get to work with many different, or almost every department in the company, which is super interesting, of course. And one class that really stuck with me was agile leadership. And that class we learned like a lot about how different departments, like often silos, can actually come together and work as one team. And one big takeaway for me was how like tech and sales teams, for example, have totally different approaches, but then they can actually come together and work efficiently together and there's where the magic happens, of course. And then we're able to create like products and services that really add value. And this knowledge has really helped me become kind of a connection link that brings everyone together to reach like these goals as a big team.
Right, very nice examples. So I had a very technical background, working really a lot in biology and cell biology, and focusing on R&D. And I had this huge, lack of knowledge about anything related to the actual business side. And for that, of course, the course definitely changed how I think about problems, even how I think about problems in the lab, but especially how I think about our product and our relationship with the customers. So customer centricity was very important during the course. I think that helped a lot, but even little things like, I think in our second module, we had financial accounting. And there you just learned to look at the company where you work for, look at their financial statement and understand it. And I think for me, that was an amazing skill to learn, because now I think whenever it gets published, it's not just, okay, another, group email for everybody, but you can actually learn what is going to be the priority for your company in the next years, just by looking at some of the numbers. So there are some really very applicable knowledge that you get that you straight away can apply and learn and use. And I believe there's a lot of other things that will define what we do in the next 10 years. And when we get into those issues, when we get into those conflicts or problems, then we think, okay, I've heard about this. There was this case study or two, and hopefully it will be enough to nudge us into the right direction.
Thank you very much. It's really interesting to hear from you because you have different backgrounds, and then to see how the experience shapes you in different ways or adds value to your current job in different ways. So that's really interesting. Thank you very much. We are running out of time, and we have a lot of interesting questions coming up. So I would say let's answer to one more question, and then after the session, if you didn't get your question answered from the audience, please do get in touch with either, if it's a admissions related question, please do get in touch with us through the admissions email. We have all the contact information on the website. Or if it's something more related to the student experience, we also have student ambassadors, and also you can check out on LinkedIn current students that might support you as well. So last question, related to your background and experience. So once you started the program or once you started your application, Francisco is asking, what aspects of your background or experience do you think made you a strong candidate? So if someone is thinking about applying now, what do you think are characteristics that you see in a ESMT student or that you think were valued when you were applying?
For me, I think first you should be an open-minded person. You are able to accept all kinds of challenges or knowledges or different cultures. That's very important. And I would say if you would like to apply to ESMT, my advice is be yourself. Do not behave or perform during the interview, just be who you are. And ESMT is really a business school who, if I would say, who really want to find the match, not find the most clever student with the best IQ or somehow. It's not like this. They really hear the people, they're really kind, humble, and they be yourself and match to ESMT, I would say.
I would say the same actually. Just be yourself. I think it's the same as if you apply for a job, because it's not like how can I get hired? It's more like, is it a good fit? So I think you will realize pretty fast during the application if this is the right choice for you or not. And I would strongly recommend, I mean, you're here already, so I would say just talk to some alumni as well, and just to get a better feeling of the school and what you can learn and the workload and so on. just to see if this MBA suits you. So there's no like particular this and this skill. Is just like, is it a good fit or not?
Yeah, there's really no need to pretend something that you're not. There's no need to say that you're the best leader already and you're just going to come and, you know, tell everyone, manage the class and tell everyone what to do. I don't think they are looking for that either. It's good to have a strong opinion, but it's good to be able to change that if you hear, you know, reasons. And being open-minded and accepting, I think that's huge criteria. If you're thinking about applying, I would say just apply, because there's definitely nothing to lose with that. And I think all three of us, when we look back at the last 2 years, I don't think any of us regretted it for a second that we did it. It's been amazing.
That's really fantastic to hear. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. It was really lovely. And for all the attendees, if you have any admissions related questions, also next Monday, we are going to have another online session with our admissions team. So if you have very specific questions about GMAT, about the profile of the candidates and so on and so forth, please join the session next Monday. And now wrapping up here, thank you very much, Marco. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Nora. It was really lovely talking to you. And I wish you all the best in your recent graduate future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.